Hello, my name is Brian O'Connor, and I am the software architect and owner of Nimbus Informatics. Nimbus Informatics is a consulting company that helps people analyze their next-gen sequence data on the Amazon cloud or on local clusters. And we're a supporter behind the open source Sequare project, which is dedicated to building tools in an open source fashion for scientists to analyze their next-gen data. In this tutorial, it's the second one of a three-part series. We're going to focus on how to upload data to the Nimbus portal and allow you to use that data with the workflows that we have built for doing alignment and variant calling and other sort of annotations. This process actually can use a variety of different techniques for getting data into the cloud. Some are better than others. I'm going to focus on our transfer tool, which allows you to move data sets on the order of whole exomes into the cloud. For very large data sets, whole genomes or multiple whole genomes, we recommend to our clients to use a hard drive import-export mechanism. Okay, so I'm going to go to portal.nimbusinformatics.com. Now, if you are interested in becoming a user of the site, you can just email help@nimbusinformatics.com and we'll provide a login information for you to use the site. Once I'm on the site, I just want to click Login. I'm logging in as the admin user, but you can log in as your own user. It looks very, very similar. Okay, in the last tutorial, I showed you how to set up a study, an experiment, and a sample. In this tutorial, we're going to pick up with uploading sequence into the cloud. Without this step, you have no data to actually process. So this is really the first step before you can really get work done. Now, as I mentioned, if you're looking at data sets that are over about 4 gigabytes, typically whole genome data sets, you really want to explore hard drive import options, which are actually surprisingly easy for Amazon. And we can work with you to make sure that happens, that works well. But for smaller data sets, whole exome, we recommend using our import-export tool, which you can launch here by just clicking on this application link. An alternative mechanism, you can do two other things. One, you can upload files directly, and this is using a standard file upload field for a web browser. I don't recommend using that for anything more than a couple megs because it really doesn't work particularly well since it's error prone and won't retry connections if there's a problem. And then finally, what actually is a very good option is if you can put your data set in a public place or a place that we can access on S3, you can actually just upload a URL here. And I'll show you in a minute how you're actually going to be using this upload client to upload the data, but you're actually going to be coming back to this form here to put in the URL. We're actually doing a two-step process. Okay, so I'm going to start by clicking on this link, and this is going to upload. This is going to run our upload tool that's written in Java. Just make sure you have the latest version of Java installed and you have Java Web Start configured in your browser, and it should work fine. When you first trigger this application, it's going to ask you for a few key settings. You're going to get those settings from Nimbus Informatics. They're going to include the access key, the secret access key, and your bucket. And you can think of the bucket as literally being the place where your data gets dumped, and the access keys are literally just your username and password that are used by the S3 service. By using this client, you ensure that the network traffic is encrypted, and when it reaches the S3 system in Amazon's cloud, that's actually encrypted as well. So it's a good way to be regulatory compliant with the regulatory restrictions on medical data, for example, in the cloud. When you first set up this application, it will ask you for a username and just a password, and this is just encrypting your settings on the local disk. So I'm just going to enter my password, and since I've set this up before, it's not going to prompt me for that initial information. Okay, so at this point, I can go ahead and just browse to a file on my local disk. For example, I have some FASTQ files here. If you're going to do paired end data, they're typically 2 files, and so you'll just upload one in each turn, and you can actually run multiple instances of this upload client at the same time. So now I'm just going to click on Start, and it's going to take this file and it's going to copy it into my S3 bucket. Now, in order to get the portal application to see what you've uploaded, you actually do need to go back here and upload the URL to the data that you just uploaded. So in this case, it's going to be s3:// the name of my bucket, which happens to be NUCO analysis, and then the name of the file I just uploaded. And you can see I'm actually using a different file name here. This file has already been uploaded. I'm going to cancel this upload and close the application. But if I let that finish, you could annotate this with a small.fastq. Since I already have this file uploaded, I'm just going to use that. And I'm going to click on paired end. And what you'll notice happens is it actually gives me a second location where I can put a second URL. So the paired file for this is called the same name, but it's _2 at the end. And at this point, all I have to do is click upload and make sure that I select the right file type. For example, this is FASTQ. In this case, you see it gave me an error message because I didn't specify that it's gzipped FASTQ. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to select the URLs. I'm going to put that in. Again, this is your bucket names and then the file name that you've uploaded. So s3:// your bucket name and the second file that you've uploaded for the second part of the read pair. And then I'm going to click on upload. Now again, that happens instantly because all we're doing is providing a URL. The thing that's going to take a long time is the actual upload of your data, depending on your internet connection and the size of the file. Okay, so at this point what you can see is that we have a sample, and then associated with that we have an analysis event called upload, so that's actually our upload event, and then we have these two files. Now, assuming you let the upload client, the Nimbus transfer tool, complete its job and push those files into the cloud, you can then click on these and you'll get an option to re-download them. Okay? Now keep in mind, if that doesn't work, then that's an indication that that file is not correctly uploaded to the cloud. Feel free to email help@nimbusinformatics.com for more information about how to debug that or any help that you need with the upload process. Getting your data onto the cloud is really the first step before you can do the analysis, so we want to make sure that that is as smooth as possible and everything is working perfectly. Okay, so at this point, I've shown you how to trigger the upload tool and then construct a URL that points back to the data that you've just uploaded. The next video tutorial, we're going to talk about how to actually use these as inputs to analysis, and I'll show you how to trigger a Novo line job using these two files that we've uploaded. All right, thank you very much for your time.